Hello everybody. Here's a little introduction to the computer terminal system we will be using in our LARP, the Goodman Protocol, this coming weekend. It is very purposefully retro and very limited in capabilities so that people can't get too caught up in fiddling with it. It's really just for sending and receiving messages, maybe between yourselves, but also for off-screen NPCs and contacts that you wish to contact. And it works like a quite old-fashioned chat application. Now, to log on to the system, you just need to drop the ID cards you're being provided with in the game onto the card reader next to the machine that you sit at. So I'm going to log on with a couple of sort of test IDs now to get things going. So the first one up on one terminal and then the other one up on the other terminal. There we go. So we have a couple of terminals there online. Sorry, it doesn't fill the whole screen. The aspect ratio is kind of wrong for showing two at once. And there's navigation buttons down the side of each screen. So there's a little at the top, there's a thing saying whether it's online or not. There's a help button you can push to try and get some help. It will bring up some very basic help screens. And then messages drop into three categories. There are local messages, which absolutely everybody, every account, everything in the game can see. So you might put an announcement there or some information there. Anybody can see and anyone can send a message there. Then there are group messages. Group messages, people belong to groups and all the people in the group can message that group and everyone in that group can see it. Simple stuff. And then there are private messages, which are between two individuals and only those individuals can see them. So you would use that for a more private conversation that's happening in game, and that is quite likely to be how any off-screen contact will get in touch with you during the LARP. Then you can also view files. There are going to be files on the system with information, not a lot of them, just a few, and they will probably increase over time during the game. So as people do things like generate results from scientific tests and things, they should show up in the list of files that you have access to. And again, files are based on whether or not they're local. Everybody can see them in the entire game. They're a group file. Everybody belongs to that group can see it. And they're private files which only you can see. So you might be sent them by somebody. So you might have a contact send you a file. And that's it. Now I'm just going to start driving it around a little bit now. So first thing I'm going to do is just have a look at the local chat in the two windows. I'm just going to send a message. I'm going to send it from the one on the right to the one on the left. And you just type on the keyboard and press enter and up it goes and there you go. So it pops straight up and you can reply that back to that on the other terminal. There you go. So that works, and you can scroll back the messages and look at them. When you look at the other windows, you've got more choices because a person might be in more than one group. So in our game, we have colonial marines and we'll have scientists and different groups of people so you can see different things. So the science team might have access to stuff that others don't. And here's a good example here. So one of these test accounts belongs to the Goodman Protocol personnel, which is everybody in the player team essentially in the game, and the other one is also a colonial marine and they have access to the USCM chat in the game. And to choose which chat you're going to talk to, click it on the list at the top. So you're both on the Goodman Protocol chat at the moment, but if I go into the US Colonial Marines chat, there you go, different set of messages. So that's that. Now, if I drop a group message in here, I'll just type some nonsense again. Should pop up over on there. There you go. And you can go back over in the other chat and it's not there. Separate chats. And then you can have private messages. Now, if you want to send a private message to somebody, you pick it out from the list of users that you can see in the game and you'll be able to see most accounts in the game, but if there are sort of secret squirrel type accounts, you won't actually show up in the list until they contact you. So there's going to be a little bit of secret squirrel going on. So first up, let's look at any existing private messages. There's a couple of some private messages going on there, so that's cool. So you've already got a couple of conversations, very similar to the groups. The window at the top is which private message chat you're in, and then the stuff at the bottom is the content of it. So if I go off, I can have a look. So what was the conversation with Mother? Yeah, Mother, when you tell us when the communications will be back. So there you go. You can go back across to here. So let's send a private message. So this is from Mike to Nick. Just do that, and that should pop up. There you go. There is a small lag. It's to do with the way it works. Technically, it uses a peer-to-peer mesh network thing. There's no server, so that's what the delay is to do. It's to do with making sure everything's all aligned. And then, so if we wanted to send a new private message, so for example, over here on this right-hand terminal, we're going to use a contact with Mother. Mother is the AI in-game for the LARP. So if we go into here, and the AI Mother represents the GM. So if you want to ask the GM's a question that's not urgent and there's not anybody around, and it might be something where you're asking a universe question, something about the game that's not immediately right in front of you in play. This allows you to queue stuff up. So I'm going to message Mother now. And that'll, yeah, Mother, when is lunch? And eventually a GM will come along, see that message, and then reply to it. So we're trying to use this to make communications with GMs a bit more asynchronous, so you're not continuously having to chase people and chase people back all the time, so that this is a bit like, I don't know, texting them sort of thing. So that's the general idea. And I'll log on again as Mother in a minute, and then you'll see that it's come up over on the Mother account. Now files, these are just text files. There's no images, there's no sound, there's no nothing. We're trying to emulate a very 1980s retro future thing as seen in the Aliens movies and things like that. So it's very limited. And if we look in the files, you should have, I think these people have slightly different things they can see. Oh no, yes, they can both see slightly different things. So one of them's got they've both got personal files, which are sent to them. And there's also some files that they can see that because they're part of the Goodman Protocol team. And we can look at those. These files are just nonsense files made up from a algorithm. And we click on that and you can see the file and you can scroll down it. And that's it. There's not a lot of interaction here. Now, I've been using the mouse to drive this, but you can in principle drive it from the keyboard. So on all those buttons on the left, there's hotkeys, so like F1, F2, F3, and those correspond to those on a PC keyboard. So you can just push those and it will flit about. And I don't think there's an enormous amount to show more. There's a couple of little bits of fluff in here, so you can look at when somebody's logged in last and things like that. So if I look at, it should show me, yeah. Oh yeah, it's still showing 2022. I'll fix that before the game, but it shows you a little bit about the player. And systems, yeah, there's nothing in there worth seeing really. That's about it. I think that's all everybody needs to know. Obviously, we'll be around during the game to answer any questions, and I'm hoping it all works. And if it doesn't work, we'll fall back to the old-fashioned method of how we always play games. So thanks for listening.